this next question is an exciting one because it's someone who loved what they do, but they're losing that passion. And it's a pretty common theme, especially in, call it, the people's 30s and 40s after they've had some time in their career. So let's jump in. This comes from Maria, 32 years old, from Fort Worth, Texas. Maria says, I've been in marketing for almost 10 years. I used to love it. The creativity, the storytelling, the strategy. But lately, working in corporate America has sucked the life out of it. Everything feels like bureaucracy, meetings, red tape. I don't want to throw away my whole career, but I'm just not excited about it anymore. How do I find that spark again? All right, Maria, it's a great question, and it's way more common than you think. Sometimes corporate America has a way of grinding people down and stealing the joy that you found in your career, right? Not every organization, but it certainly happens in organizations. And what I'd say are a couple things. One, get back to the core of what it is that you loved about your career. You mentioned the storytelling, the creativity, the writing. Try to focus on those parts of your job as much as possible. There's always going to be things in organizations that you don't love, right? There's politics, there's climbing the corporate ladder, there are promotions or lack of promotions, there's the pay that you get, maybe you're not happy with the benefits, right? Whatever it is. There's no organization that is going to be absolutely perfect, right? That's not the case, and that's fine, right? They don't need to be. They don't pretend to be, or at least they shouldn't. So what you need to do is get back to those things that you love, the core of what you fell in love with, and try to focus as much of your time on that as possible. Try to spend as little time as possible on the things that you don't enjoy, the politics, the climbing the corporate ladder, etc. I know, easier said than done, right? Because those things are always hovering around, they're always creating noise, they're always there. But what you have to do is try to block time in your calendar every day to focus on just those things. So, if creativity is something that you love, block an hour for creativity and treat that time just as importantly as you would treat it as if your calendar said you had a meeting with your CEO. It's untouchable. That is your time to be creative. That is for you just to focus on that part of your career that you love. Or if you want to do the same thing with writing, right? Whatever it is, block off time in your calendar to focus on those core things. Secondly, I'd say redefine success for yourself. Stop thinking within that corporate context, right? Because what that does to us often is get us to solely think about the next promotion or how to get the pay increase or how to look good to the boss, right? Success for you might be having that creative outlet, being able to use your writing skills, being able to come up with a creative design, being able to express yourself freely within the organization or helping your clients or your company to communicate their brand, their product, whatever it is, to the world, right? Start to think of what success meant to you when you first started the career, right? Sure, pay is good and promotions are good, but when you first got into it, I'm sure you got into it because it was interesting to you, it was exciting to you, it fulfilled some passions of yours. So start redefining success in that way. If you get to use your creativity for a few hours a day, maybe that's your new level of success. So look at your priorities and determine what success really means for you. And third, I'd say look at what your passions are and start exploring them in your personal life as well. If being creative is something that you're passionate about and excited about, it doesn't mean that you just have to be creative at work within the marketing role. You might like to go home and write fiction or nonfiction. You might want to help a friend who has a small business to help with their marketing. You may want to design a cookbook. You may want to make a scrapbook, right? Whatever it is, scratch that itch outside of your professional life as well. Because what that can do is light that spark again and reinvigorate you in your career. All right? That passion, that excitement, it's not gone, right? It's just buried. And what we need to do is clear away some of that clutter and unearth it so that you can get back to enjoying the career that you have. Those core beliefs, those core feelings, they're not gone. You just need to unearth them and find that passion in your career again. And you know what? Every organization is always going to have things that you don't enjoy, that you don't like. And you just gotta find a way to kind of block them out. And I know, easier said than done, right? I've been there, I've experienced it, I certainly know what you're talking about, so I'm not trying to dismiss it. What I'm saying is you just need to try to focus in on those core passions, those core beliefs of yours, and really try to isolate those and highlight those as much as possible. Blocking time in your calendar, doing them outside of your professional life, right? And just reinvigorating that spark, because it is something that was there, and I want you to find it again, and I believe that you can. You just need to kind of swipe away that clutter. All right, you got it.